Today, it's how to personalize your new GMC truck before you even drive it off the lot. And we're going to put their new remote start and truck information system to a real-world test. Then we're traveling to one of the best truck shows in the nation, Summit's annual Truck Fest. And we'll roll the tape back for a rewind segment on the basics of doing a paint job right the first time out. That's all today here on Trucks.
Hey, welcome to the truck shop. Well, what do a couple of brothers named Max and Morris Grabrowski have to do with our show, or even trucks in general? Well, if you're up on your trucks trivia, then you already know that these guys formed the Grabrowski Motor Vehicle Company and sold their very first manufactured truck to the American Garment Cleaning Company back in 1902.
Investors were quick to pick up on a good thing, and a few mergers later, the first GMC logo was slapped on a truck in 1911. There was no turning back from there. GMC has sold over 10 million trucks over the last 100 years or so and show no signs of stopping.
So we're going to take a look at this vintage 1951 GMC as well as this 2008 GMC Sierra. We're going to compare a few notes and see what's changed in a little more than 50 years.
This 3/4-ton truck was beautifully restored by Randy Payne in Dixon, Tennessee. It features a 90 horsepower, 228 cubic inch straight six, shift on the column 3-speed manual transmission, and 411 gears. But it also features accessories like a passenger side visor, a deluxe heater with defrost, a radio, although Randy's updated his with a more modern unit, an inside rearview mirror, an outer windshield visor, chrome grille and chrome bumpers, and left and right side mirrors. But Randy took things a step further and added stainless steel strips and new wood to the bed. And you've already seen the chrome valve cover and the oilless air cleaner. But he kept things in the spirit of what was available way back when.
Now, obviously, Randy's truck is not typical of a truck that old. It's got a considerable amount of accessories and comfort-enhancing items. But this 08, well, this thing is off the hook. It is loaded. Inside, we've got 10-way power-adjustable seats with heaters, leather upholstery, steering wheel controls, an in-dash CD player, adjustable pedals. It's even got a sunroof. Now, GM has just developed this new key fob remote start system with an impressive list of features, and we'll talk more about this later on when we test it out. Our truck rolls on 20-inch factory alloy wheels and Goodyear rubber, as well as having the heavy-duty towing package with locking diff and transcooler. The 5.3-liter flex fuel engine with active fuel management pushes this full-size truck to better than 20 miles per gallon. All in all, this is a well-equipped truck with a long list of accessories.
Now, believe it or not, most of the accessories found on this 51 GMC were available over the parts store counter. So I guess it's fair to say the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Now, accessorizing your vehicle, it's nothing new. Most people start customizing within the first 10,000 miles of a new vehicle purchase. So we're going to show you what's new with GM Accessories and what you can buy over the GM parts counter to start personalizing your new truck. But the best part is that you can roll that cost back into your low-interest truck payment.
Let's get started. I'll get this old girl out of the way.
Don't let that 90 horsepower get away from you.
I'll try not to. What we're installing on this truck is just a fraction of what GM offers over the counter. So your options are almost unlimited when it comes to restyling with parts that are guaranteed to fit. Now, beside all the chrome hardware and bolt-on accessories, GM also offers some performance hardware in the form of their own cold air intakes and catback exhaust systems that'll let the engine breathe easier and free up a few ponies.
But now, early on, we showed you their new key fob remote start system that has a long list of neat features. Plus, they claim a 1,000-foot starting range. So we're going to keep them honest and test it out. Now, obviously, Ryan's still in the truck, and we've measured off 1,000 feet, which is represented by our little pile of rocks. Now, I've got the ignition key in my hand, so Ryan can't start the truck, so we'll see if the key fob will.
Started up? Yeah, it started up. Not only that, the climate control came on wide open and blowing cold.
Okay, now try and put it in gear.
Oh, it won't let me.
Well, that's one of the cool features too, because if there's somebody in your vehicle when you remote start it, they're not going to be able to put it in gear without the key in the ignition. And incidentally, there's a sensor here that'll tell you if somebody's in there as well.
Hey, you want to know what your tire pressure is?
Sure, why not?
Left front is 29, right front's 29, right rear is 30, left rear is 30.
Cool, I set them all to 30 right before we left the shop.
Okay, it's telling me that I've started it by remote one too many times. It'll only give you 2 remote starts, then you have to go back in and cycle the ignition with the key. It's kind of a safety feature,
Run that key
I
up
guess.
here so I can fire it up.
It's a long way away.
Up next, we're going to Summit's Truck Fest. And later, we'll show you even more detail on how to take on your very first paint job. Stay tuned.
Hey, welcome back. Well, like you guys, we love working on our trucks here in the shop, but every once in a while we need to get out and hit the show circuit and get some fresh ideas for our TV projects. But it's hard to find time to travel. So when we do get to go, we want to hit the best show we can find.
And one of the best is Summit Racing's annual Truck Fest show. And as you're about to see, this one's got all the right ingredients. It happens every September. Thousands of truck enthusiasts congregate at Truck Fest, a free family show that salutes the East Coast's best trucks and the guys who build them.
Truck Fest is awesome!
Over 800 street trucks, customs, classics, minis, jacked up, dropped, chopped, and blown, you name it, it's here.
We literally, we get thousands of people here. This event, it's an annual program. This weekend we're here to celebrate really cool trucks. It's really a great event.
Even the ultimate lifted monster showed up to celebrate its 30th anniversary. Bigfoot driver Jim Kramer has been piloting the gigantic Ford since 1977.
And it's always nice to come out to a deal like Summit, the Truck Fest and everything, and bring Bigfoot number 5. Believe me, it's a rarity that this truck even gets out. What surprises a lot of people is it actually moves. You know, it drives quite well.
Jim ain't kidding. We both angled for time behind the wheel, and as you might imagine, it was a blast.
Now this is a rush, man.
The fun factor is the largest pickup truck in the world. It's in the Guinness Book of World Records again this year. And every time you get to drive something like that, it's a great feeling.
We just want to say thanks for letting us have some seat time.
Anytime, guys. You know what? You're a quick study.
Yeah, and we had to be quick to see all the rigs vying for the best of class honors.
What we do is we try to go ahead and judge the trucks based on a variety of criteria, and then we give out trophies for the best trucks. And again, they're all our customer trucks, so they're very proud to be able to get that.
Trophy winners were everywhere, from this chopped and dropped S10 to this lifted rear steer F350. But the dominant theme was the old school classics.
Like this cherry 46 Studebaker M5 featuring air ride suspension and a stout 351 Cleveland.
And this shaved LT1 powered 56 Chevy loaded with subtle details. Now here's one of the neat things. Look at the chrome trim around the rear glass. It's airbrush. It's not chrome. That's just somebody's artisanship. That's neat, man.
Truck Fest bristles with unique rigs that bring out the faithful.
Check out this cool 65 Falcon Ranchero, complete with period correct straight 6 and 3 2-barrel Offie intake.
How about this stealthy F100 panel sporting a potent 32-valve Cobra V8 with a 5-speed? Or this Pearl 32 hot rod pickup packing an Edelbrock-equipped flathead?
Or this faithfully restored vintage 54 Chevy half-ton, perfect with every original detail.
Everyone came for inspiration, even movie car icon George Barris. The king of the customizers flew in from Hollywood to take in the show and talk about building a truck.
Did I give you a card?
With us.
Okay, good. Well, keep in touch with me and let me know
Okay,
where,
great.
what, when, then we can maybe do something else.
George, we will take you up on that. But this is more than just a show and shine for custom fans. It's also a show and climb for 4x4 fans.
Speaking of inspiration, well, there's more to Summit Truck Fest than Bigfoot, cool parts, and a show and shine. Out here at the fairgrounds, they got a rock crawl set up so these guys can test their rigs and see if they can break some parts.
The serious 4x4 guys attack concrete pyramids, piles of road barriers, and fields of boulders with everything from Jeeps to Tundras to caged buggies.
Stay on top, buddy.
Most of the time without too much drama, sometimes with a little help, and occasionally, well, this guy is going to need his Summit catalog.
Whether you're into custom street trucks, gnarly off-roaders, or both, this may be the best show of all.
All right, thanks again. Thanks for having me. Absolutely. Bye, y'all. See you next trip.
Now, it's cool to see all those great-looking trucks and hang out with those guys. Now, if you want to see some top-notch iron, ride the rocks, or hang out with fellow truck enthusiasts, mark your calendar for next September 13th. We'll see you there. Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. A while back, we started doing a segment we call Rewind, which is a way for us to give you a more in-depth look at certain projects. Well, today, we're going to revisit the paint job I did on Holland S10.
Now, it takes us about a week to film just one of the shows that you guys see, so it's no secret that some of what we captured doesn't get used. But you guys did see Ryan lay down a nice paint job on this truck, especially considering it was the first time he'd ever painted a vehicle. So what we're going to do is show you some of the footage that didn't get used in the show and take a closer look at the fundamentals of automotive painting. We showed you some basic setup when it comes to gravity-fed paint guns, but like anything else, there's always more detail that you can go into. Now, the paint gun settings we showed you are going to get you started on a nice, even wet coat of paint. But if when testing your gun, you end up with a pattern that looks like this, well, chances are one of your air cap vents is plugged, needs to be cleaned. If you end up with a pattern like this that's light in the middle and heavy on the sides, well, you've got too much inlet pressure at your gun. Back your pressure down and it should even out. What you want to look for is an elliptical or football-shaped pattern like this, about 6 to 8 inches tall. See, what we're doing is we're practicing on the paper, not in our project, not on the booth walls. This gives Ryan a feel of what the real paint looks like. We tested our pattern, we got the nice elliptical pattern, we're good to go. He's a natural.
Now, I sprayed every square inch of Holland S10, but I did get some coaching now and then, and a few tricks of the trade.
Okay, a panel like this is a little different. You got to treat it like a box. Don't get fooled and tricked into these crevices and openings. What you want to do is paint all the way across it. Make your pass, then step back and look. If you got to go in and feather in a little bit, that's fine, but do it afterwards. Go for it.
Cool.
He doesn't need any coaching. He's got it. That's great.
Now, one of the things I had to get used to was what to do with the air hose when spraying. The air hose actually got into the wet paint on the side of the truck, and I didn't want that to happen again. So Kevin gave me a tip. He said either put the air hose over your shoulder and spray that way, or go ahead and route it behind your back and hold it with your free hand. It's just whatever works for you and what you're comfortable with.
The leapfrogging technique lets you move up the vehicle in a staggered pattern, keeping everything wet as you travel. But you don't want to get trapped into stopping on your panel brakes. Okay, you see how Ryan's painting past the panel brake? This is so you don't get a big buildup on that edge. That's good technique. Now you've seen Ryan spraying across here, painting the paper. It's not a mistake. A little more paint here is not going to cost you much more, but it's going to keep the dust from blowing from the paper up into your paint job. Now, if you've painted very much at all, you're going to get runs of the paint. It just happens. And that's because there's this imaginary line between enough paint on the panel and too much, which causes runs. So think about our little drawing here as a cross-section of a panel that's been turned sideways. Here's your metal and here's your paint. Now, when you get excessive buildup, it actually draws the paint level in on either side of the run. And if you try and fix this with sandpaper, there's a chance that you can sand through into your base coat, causing yourself a redo. So think about this as the razor blade we showed you in the run razor technique. Now, scraping with the razor blade levels the surface of the run until it's even with the rest of the surrounding paint and creates a smooth surface that can be buffed up to gloss without the danger of burning through.
I didn't handle any of the mixing of the paint or anything like that. So how do you know how much paint to buy?
And that's an important question because automotive paint can get very expensive, but it's easy to figure out how much paint you need to buy if you use Kevin's rule of 7, which is quite simply, it's going to take you about 7 ounces of mixed paint per panel per coat. So if you factor in your 7 ounces of mixed paint and our truck had 10 panels for 1 coat, it gives you 70 ounces. Now remember that there's 32 ounces in a quart, so this gives us a little bit better than 2 full quarts of sprayable paint, which is almost exactly what it took us to make 1 coat on the truck. So if you count your panels, factor in Kevin's rule of 7, you can figure out how much paint you need to buy almost to the ounce and not blow your budget.
Now for you guys that want to balance the exhaust flow of your truck's left and right cylinder banks, but there's no direct bolt-in kit, well, Flowmaster makes it real easy for you with their universal H-pipe kit. It comes with all needed hardware and is available in 2 1/4, 2 1/2, and 3-inch sizes. Now if space is at a premium underneath your truck, well, their Hushpower II mufflers just might fit the bill. They offer stainless steel construction, a mellow 50s tone, and all the benefits of their street and race mufflers. They also support up to 400 horsepower. Hushpower II mufflers are available in 2, 2 1/4, and 2 1/2-inch sizes, and prices range from $169 to $189. The universal H-pipe kit, $55. Now, if you're putting together a high-performance engine, well, Royal Purple has everything you need to get you from bare block to the racetrack, starting with their max-tuff synthetic assembly lube. It'll extend engine life and prevent metal-to-metal contact on that crucial first startup. Now you saw us use their Purple Ice cooling system additive. It'll lower radiator temperatures by reducing the surface tension of the water, allowing heat transfer to take place more effectively. It'll also condition the water pump seals. And XPR is their newest synthetic race oil. Now this stuff is made for the grueling conditions you see at the track and will free up as much horsepower and torque as possible while maximizing protection against heat and wear. Royal Purple's complete line of products is available at most auto parts stores.
Now, even though your paint still looks shiny, over time, dirt and contamination can get ground into the pores of the paint, eventually killing the gloss. You can even hear it. But Mothers has come up with a clay bar paint-saving system that's designed to roll that contamination out of the paint, reviving it. It starts with the instant detailer that comes in the kit. Then, taking the clay bar, you rub it with a back and forth motion over the paint. Now, you don't have to rub very long or very hard, but look at the contamination the clay picked up out of that hood. Next, take a polishing cloth and wipe off the detailer. And after you're through with that, take the Carnauba wax and give it a nice coat of wax that'll protect it. But listen, now that's clean. And you can pick up a Mother's clay bar system for a little less than $20 at almost any automotive retailer. Thank you for watching Trucks. See you guys next week.